Hello, welcome. This video is about how Marjorie went from being Steve's side chick to his wife. Now, Steve and Marjorie met back in the mid 80s when Steve was performing at a comedy club. If you follow Steve and Marjorie, you probably have heard him tell his story a million times about how him and Marjorie met. Marjorie came to the comedy club and he stopped the show and he said to her, "Lady, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to marry you someday." So that's how they met. And they actually did date. So yes, Steve and Marjorie did date. I'm not exactly sure how long, but of course, things didn't work out because Marjorie is a material girl living in a material world. Marjorie likes her corn, and Steve wasn't quite yet the king of comedy. He was more like a baby of comedy, so he didn't have that coin together, so Miss Marjorie had to move on. And of course, poor Steve was quite devastated. I mean, just crushed. Marjorie literally just broke his heart into a million pieces. Marjorie moved on with pharmaceutical kingpin Jim Thompson. And her, eventually becoming his wife, that is where she got the name Queen Pin or Lady Heroin. Her and Mr. Jim Thompson had 2 children. This is Morgan, and they also have a very handsome son by the name of Jason. This is the beautiful Morgan, and that's the handsome Jason. Now, Jim is finally coming out with his book, Snakes in the Garden, The Untold Story of Jim, aka Jimmy L. Townsend. Child, this has been long awaiting. Like, this book was supposed to come out years ago, and he finally did it. So y'all listen, this is gonna be juicy. I'm very curious, but I want y'all to buy it first, and I want to hear about it because I don't know if he's really gonna spill the beans on Miss Marjorie, because she helped, her and Steve helped get him out of jail. So I really don't understand how he can do a tell-all book when they're the reason he's free. So I don't know about this book, but we shall see. Mr. Townsend got busted. He received a lifelong sentence, and after that, Miss Marjorie moved on with Mr. Donnell Woods, who is the biological father of the infamous Lori Harvey. Mr. Woods was also a pharmaceutical kingpin who eventually got busted and arrested as well. Okay, so Marjorie got the name Lady Heroin or Queen Pin due to the fact that she married two pharmaceutical kingpins, right? So which one do you think she is? Do you think she's Lady Heroin from Harlem Nights, or do you think she's Uniqua from New Jack City? I would definitely say she's Lady Heroin, just because the way that she dresses and the way that she carries herself. Now, the reason I put Uniqua from New Jack City in here is because in the movie, Uniqua dated the 2 cousins. And you remember with Marjorie, there was some rumors going around that both of her ex-husbands were cousins, but that just turned out to be a rumor. Okay, so enough about her exes and her past. Now it's about her present. How did Marjorie go from being Steve's side chick to his wife? Okay, so now after Marjorie divorced her second husband, she contacted Steve through a friend of Steve's and hers. Marjorie was actually working for a escort service at the time, And this guy, the friend, he was working for Steve and he was a driver. So one day he picked up Marjorie to go on a date with a very rich gentleman. That's what she used to do. So anyway, Marjorie used to go on dates with wealthy clients for a hefty fee. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Isn't that a lot like what her daughter is doing now? Being wined and dined by all these wealthy men? I wonder where Lori got that idea from. Like mother, like daughter. So anyway, Marjorie contacted Steve through this friend, but at the time, Steve was still married to his second wife, Mary. Now, due to the fact that Marjorie broke Steve's heart, into a million pieces way back in the day, he didn't really trust her, so he made her be his side piece for about 2 years before he actually left his wife. Now, I think Steve probably would have left his wife immediately upon meeting Marjorie if it wasn't for the fact that they had a past together and he knew what type of woman she was, so he wasn't sure he could trust her. I think Steve was having a time of his life having Marjorie as his side piece. He liked to dress like a PIMP, so now he could actually feel like one. Now, Marjorie had to prove to Steve that she would be a better wife. Now, Marjorie did that by being a lady, adding style and grace to his life. She definitely improved his style, because y'all know what he looked like before and how he was dressing. So Marjorie just added a touch of just class and elegance. I don't care what you say about this woman. I don't care about her background, but the fact that this lady just has a style and an elegance about her that is just unmatched. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few photos of how Steve used to dress before he got with Marjorie. Here is one. Oh my goodness, these suits were horrible. He was in desperate need of a tailor. Those suits are like 3 times too big. Now, this is how he dressed once he got with Marjorie. This is Marjorie's work right here. That woman has style, elegance. She can dress. She really did upgrade his image. Now, this is Mary versus Steve with Mary versus him with Marjorie. It's just, he just looks a little more put together. I'm just saying. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming Steve's ex for how he dressed. But, the woman in your life does have an effect on you. And Marjorie, was that positive effect on him. She cleaned up his image, where I guess his ex-wife didn't have that type of, pull over him. You know what I mean? Marjorie went from being Steve's side chick to his wife because she's charming, she has elegance, style, grace, and hey, Steve fell for it. I mean, how could he not? Steve, I believe he has this superficial side to him where he just literally couldn't resist. And Marjorie is quite irresistible, I must say. Now, remember I said Steve does have this superficial side to him. Now, they say he favors Lori because she's the prettiest daughter. What y'all think? I mean, he definitely act like he favors Lori. I don't know if that's the reason, but, it definitely seems like she is the favorite. But anyway, that is how Miss Marjorie Harvey went from being Steve's side chick to his wife. Ladies, take notes. style, your charm, your elegance can go a long way. Trust me. Ask Miss Marjorie.